Welcome back. In this video, we're going to be talking about the pre-course checklist. Okay, what we want to do is when we get a new course, there's certain things that you have to check before the students come into the course. What this does, it saves you a lot of frustration and your students a lot of frustration once the course starts. We want to do things like check the links, check to make sure you have access to the course, check to make sure student enrollment is set up properly. But we make this real easy. At the top of every course, there is an instructor pre-course checklist or prep checklist. It's hidden from the students, so when you go into your course, you should see this sort of in a grayed out text. When you click on this and get to it on your machine, okay, it's going to either open in a separate application because it's a PDF document, or it's going to open in a browser window. Okay, it looks like something like this. So what we need you to do is, first of all, we need to fill out the form. Okay, so you're going to put your course number. Okay, you're going to put whatever campus you're on. You want to put your name as the instructor, what term it is, and the date you're filling this out. Okay, then what we do is we want to come down and check off every single one of these items. So the first item here is instructor verifies that you have access to the course. Now the easiest way to do this is basically go into the course. So you're in your category or whatever on your campus. Okay, I'm working from the master courses here. So, but you're on your campus, you're in the course category, and you want to make sure that the course comes up. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in here, we're going to make sure that we have access to the course and that you have instructor access. The easiest way to check for instructor access to a course is to look for the administration block. You should be able to do something like turn editing on. Okay, so if you click over here, you should be able to switch to an editing on mode. Okay, and once you turn editing on, you now have all the little icons next to that. Okay, so if you can access your course and turn editing on, you have the correct access. Okay, now the education supervisor of the department should make sure that they have access, and then the next step is to make sure all days are closed to the students except for the first day. In other words, if a student logs in here, you don't want them to see day 20 of the course because everyone has the habit of going to the end. So what we want to do is we want to come down and we want to make sure that every day is sort of grayed out. You see how this top one is, darker text than the one after it? Okay, and if you look at the edit, you see it says show topic. The one that's visible to the students has the choice to hide topic. So the only one that should be visible to the student all the way down the course is day 1 at this point. Okay, because you're doing this 10 to 15 days ahead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here and I'm going to check out and see that everything is closed with the exception of day 1. And so far, so good. Yup, we're all set. So back to the top. So I can go back over to my course checklist and I can make sure that everything is closed except for day 1. The next step says instructor makes sure that they check for enrollment key in the settings. Now, an enrollment key allows you to give the students on their first day of class, you have them click on the link to the course, and they are prompted for an enrollment key. It saves you a lot of time and trouble and aggravation with trying to register your students ahead of time and not knowing exactly who's going to be sitting in your classroom. So what we do is we come over here to Users, and we click Enrollment Methods. Okay, now most of your courses will always copy out with manual enrollments turned on. If manual enrollments isn't turned on, you don't have access to the course and you're going to need administrative help. But there's another one down here called self-enrollment. Okay, self-enrollment is a lot of times hidden. So enable self-enrollment by opening the little eyeball that's to the right of it. Okay, and then self-enrollment all of a sudden will become visible. Click on the gear. Okay, and the only thing that you really need to come down here and look at is the enrollment key. Okay, so click in the enrollment key. Your browser may prompt you for something. Don't worry about it. And click unmask, okay, because you want to be able to see what you type. So what you need to do is you need to enter a key or some sort of password is all it is that you can give to your students for this single course. Don't reuse enrollment keys because students quickly figure that out and can accidentally end up in the wrong course. Case does matter. So if you're going to mix upper and lowercase letters, that's exactly what you have to give to your students. I usually use some sort of combination of words like enroll me and the course number, let me in and the course number, or something like that. Don't use spaces and try to stay away from exclamation points and stuff like that. So once you have an enrollment key entered, you want to come down and click Save Changes. That is really the only thing that you want to do, okay, in there. So again, you're going to make sure it's enabled. You're going to click the Edit icon, and you're going to make sure that the enrollment key is in there and you know what it is. Don't change anything else on this screen because it has a real possibility of messing things up for you. Okay, so what we did there, now we can go back to the main course screen and we can check off that on the course checklist. The enrollment key is in there. Okay, then we need to say Instructor, make sure course is available to students in settings. So we're going to go take a look at the course settings. So again, over here on the left-hand side where it says Administration, you're going to look at the course settings. Okay. The one thing that's extremely important in here is the course start date. Okay, you need to change this to whatever the course start date for your term is. Okay, so Porter and Chester works on a term-by-term basis. YTI also on a term-by-term basis, so set the course start date to the start date of the term. Okay, and then you want to scroll down here all the way, and you can check things like course format. You can check the appearance. Okay, you can check completion tracking should be enabled. Okay, and all of this should be enabled. But again, what we want to make sure is that the course is visible to the students, and it is. Okay, there's nothing that says it's not visible to the students in here. So we're okay there. Okay, because right here it says, if you look up top under General, you have Visible and it says Show. Okay, so that takes care of that. Save and display because we want to go back to the main course. So we can check off course is visible to the student. Now, our next step is fixes available and due dates on all assignments. Now, in the past, a lot of people have had to go into every single assignment to change the dates. Well, we've made it quite a bit easier over recent versions of Moodle. Over on the left-hand side, there's a report. Okay, it's a little triangle that when you click on it, it expands. And then you also have dates. Okay, so reports and dates. Okay, so what we do is we take a look at assignments. Okay, and we'll expand all. Okay, so our course start date is July 21st, 2014, and that really should be 2016 since it's this year. Okay, now, what has to happen is here are all your assignments. So you need to enable whatever dates you want. So if you want to allow submissions from, this is the date the assignment becomes available, and then the due date is the date the assignment is due. Cutoff date we do not want you to use. Okay, cutoff date basically says that even if a student does it late, they will be unable to turn in the assignment. That's not a good educational practice. You want them to be able to turn it in regardless if it's early or late. You just don't want them to be able to, you want to be able to affect the grade for late assignments. The other thing is you want to do expect completion on. So there's 3 dates for every assignment you need to set. So what you do is you go down this entire list sitting next to your calendar, okay, and then you can do it all at one time. Okay, so plan out your course, just go down the list, and anything that doesn't have an assignment, don't worry about it. Click Save Changes. Okay, that takes care of all of your assignments at one time, so you never have to go back through the whole course and do it again. Okay, then you can do the same thing for your quizzes. Okay, so you can pull up the quizzes, again, expand all, and you have your open the quiz, close the quiz. So if you have a calendar sitting next to you, you can go down and you can actually go down and check all of the quizzes and make very sure that your open and close dates are correct. Okay, and also the final exam is very important to make sure you have the open and close date correct. Once you have that set, go down and click Save Changes. So at this point, using a calendar next to you in 2 screens, you have taken care of all of your open and close dates for your assignments and your quizzes. And labs are also done as assignments, so that's taken care of as well. Some programs have labs differently, okay, but in this case, it's assignment. Now, there's the rest of this is reviews. Okay, you need to take a look at everything in there. The really important ones are the videos and web links, because sometimes links move, and you really need to understand what's on the quizzes. So there's an easy way to do this. Again, you can come into your course. Okay, we click on the course name up on our footprint up here, or our path. Okay, and we go back to our course. Once the course is here, you can find the activities. Okay, you can find the, I didn't want the, you can find your activities. Okay, block. These are all blocks, and I have mine hidden on the left, so I just have to hover over them. Okay, things like video links, PowerPoints, web links are all going to be here under resources. So if I click the resources, okay, it's going to pull up the full screen list of all my resources. And you can come down here on any of these resources and you can right click on it and open in a new tab. Okay, so if I open in a new tab, I make sure that my eBrary works well. I can close it. I can come to the next one. I can open in a new tab. And there's my ProQuest. Okay, so everything that's in here that's like a video for YouTube, okay, I can click and open in a new tab. Okay. And you can make sure your YouTube videos work properly. So it doesn't take clicking back and forth if you do this just consistently, open a new tab. But this is extremely important that you do look at this stuff, because it's very easy to have links that aren't working properly. Okay, so like this is a link to the American Gas Association. Okay, every one of your courses will have different links. You can also, through here, check on things like your handouts, okay? So if you have a course handout that you want the students to see, you can check on links like that, okay? PDF links might open in a separate application. PowerPoints you know will open in a separate application. You really also want to check your PowerPoints up to 10 days in advance. That's what our policy says. So once you've done that, you've reviewed all assignments, you've made sure that the video links work, you've checked the readings, okay? Like any assignments that are homework or handouts and stuff like that. You've checked your PowerPoint for the first 10 days, and you've reviewed all quizzes, all exams. And if you find any issues, you have to bring them to, the instructor needs to bring them to their supervisor or the curriculum chair, and this is done via Bugzilla, okay, which we'll talk about in a further class. Then, so that's steps 1 through 16 there are prior to the term. Has to be done about 2 weeks prior. You don't want to do it right as you're going on vacation because no one has a chance to fix anything. The earlier you get this done, the better chance we have of fixing issues. Okay, first day of class, okay, you can have the students enroll themselves via the enrollment key. You want to make sure all the students log into the class, and you want to make sure that the students have access to their emails, and you want to show the students how to look at their grades and assignments. And then you want to go ahead and open the following 2 days of material for the students, okay? So the students should always have access to 2 days in advance of what you're going to be teaching. You want to, and then as the term goes on, you want to always have material reviewed 10 days in advance. And anything that's graded that you receive as assignments or labs or anything, you have to have within 2 business days graded. That's our policy. Okay? And then randomly, people do check and make sure that things are being done properly in the courses. This completed sheet needs to be sent to your CDOE and your curriculum chair prior to the start of the term. Okay, so what we've done in this video is we've talked about the course setup. We've talked about what you need to do as an instructor, setting dates, making sure students have access, and anything else like that in terms of pre-course checklist. When you're all done, turn editing off, and your course is basically ready for your students. As always, ask if you have any questions. Your resources is your education supervisor, or your CDOE, and your curriculum chair. Thank you.